Hi guys, it's Sam from Creatively Sam's, and today I'm participating in the $5 Goodwill Challenge Spring 2019 edition, hosted by Hilary from Old World Home. Thank you, Hilary. I ended up going to 2 different Goodwills, only found one thing that I liked. So if you want to see what I did with it, stay tuned. It's coming up next. Well, the first Goodwill I went to is in the process of redecorating. So there was very little out, and what they did have out was incredibly expensive. And on my way out, I always look over at the tablecloths area, and I found this. And it's a curtain panel. And this is exactly the shade that I wanted of gray. And it's 100% polyester, so it should wash up well. So that was $1.99. And that's all I got of the first one. And we'll see what I do with this later. What I decided to use this on is some throw pillows for the couch. So I got out my patterns, and I had made these out of the brown wrapping paper that you can get at the Dollar Tree or Walmart, and because they're sturdier, so I can reuse these a lot. So all I'm going to do is cut out the pieces and sew the new covers. Well, I not only had enough to cut out the pillow covers, but there was enough to make placemats. All for $1.99. Yeah, I like this. Okay, well, all I did was put these facing each other, and I had this silver fabric that I'm using for the one side and this curtain for the other. And I put 2 pink pins in here so I can remind myself where I want to begin and end. And I'm just going to use a straight stitch at about 1/2 inch. And back stitch to make sure it locks in place. And I'm just going to continue this all the way around until I get to the next pink pin. And we'll be back. Okay, I got it all done. And now I'm just going to cut the excess out of the corners. And I'm going to turn this right side out and put the pillow form in it. If I clip in the corners like that, it takes out the excess, which makes a sharper corner. See how nice that corner turns out? Okay, I got the pillow form in. And I know you've seen me do this before, but for my new subbies, which I appreciate each and every one of you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck this down in. Bring a needle up And then I'm going to do a ladder stitch. And a ladder stitch is just going one side, and you go into the other side, and you do that all the way through the whole opening. And then once you tighten it down, you can't even see the stitches. Sorry, my kitty wants to join in. In one, in the other. And you can see how it makes a ladder stitch, but once it's pulled tight, you can't see that. So we'll be back when I'm done. Two, what are you doing? Okay, I got it all done. And like I said, you can't really see the seams, or the stitching rather. And I'm just going to put a knot in here. And give it an extra one for good measure. And this is a trick that I learned way back in home ec. If you bring this down in the seam and bring it out in the fabric, the tail never shows. So that's one done, and it's reversible. And I'm going to get working on the other ones, and then we'll be back and I'll show you how I do the placemats. Okay, for the placemats I did them exactly the same way. Sewed them all the way around, left the opening to be able to flip them inside out. Then I pinned them all the way around, and this is the opening. So I'm just pinning this down. And what I'm going to do is a top stitch instead of the ladder stitch. And I'm giving this about a 1/2 inch, just the way I've done everything else. And I'm using a longer stitch. And making sure that it's all tucked in all the way around. And you can see the way that the edge is finished. By keeping this at a 1/2 inch, it catches what's inside so it lays flatter. And it's a lot easier if you iron it first to get the crispy edges. Or you can iron it after. And there's the placemats. And the reason that I don't hot glue this is because these are going to be used. And hot glue has a tendency to turn to mush in the washer and dryer. And I could have used OK to Wash It, which is a fabric glue, but with this fabric I think it'll discolor it. So, okay, that's one done and 3 more of those to go. Well, I had enough fabric to make 2 large throw pillows, but I only had enough fabric for one side of each of the other ones that I was making. So, that's one of them. And they're plain silver on the one side, and the silver and gray on the other. And then I had enough left over to make some neck roll pillows. So I have 2 of these, and 2 of these. So I was able to make 4 throw pillows out of the new fabric for a total of 6. And I still had fabric left over. And what I did with the leftover was make 4 reversible placemats. So now I have new placemats for my tablescape, plus a set of 6 new throw pillows. And that's not bad for $1.99. So thank you, Hilary, because if I hadn't been in there when I was looking to do this challenge, I never would have found the fabric to finish all these projects. So if you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and happy creating, everyone.